Underdogs is a game that shares quite a bit in common with Gorn, using many of the same design principles. The way you move, the way enemies attack, and importance on movement for the systems to work as intended. It also happens to be one of my favorite VR games ever, with an incredible sense of style, identity, weight, and power. The enemies move in an interesting way. It's like they glide across the ground and their legs just move accordingly. The way these enemies attack is also very simple. A small choreograph, then an attack, much like Gorn. When hit, they don't immediately go into a stun state or go immobile unless they are airborne during or after getting hit, or you're using a specific type of weapon. Instead, once they are hit, they instantly drop whatever they're doing, and the kinetic energy from your attack has them organically stagger, which is the usual window in this game for a follow-up attack. The same thing applies to Blade and Sorcery, but the key difference here is the organic part. You see, the way the enemies stagger ties directly into the way they move normally. Once you hit them, they basically just go into the regular movement again. The stagger effect being gained by the amount of power and which direction you put into your attack being carried by said movement. When they get really damaged or punched out of the air, the enemy robots go stiff, allowing you to do whatever you want to them without the possibility of your actions being interrupted by unexpected movement, since they only get up after a period of time of being undamaged. While the system is simple, its simplicity allows it to have consistency, which makes it incredibly reliable, allowing you to plan your counterattacks and execute them knowing they're going to work, which always feels good. And it's great to have that reliability when you're surrounded by multiple enemies at a given time. However, the biggest thing that makes the combat feel fresh every time you play, despite somewhat basic enemies, is you. The game is unique in that you're controlling a body that isn't your actual body. It's a mech, which allows the physics of the world to interact with you just as they would the enemies, meaning you're all playing by the same rules instead of you being disconnected on the basis of being the player. The movement mechanics for you within the game are not only for locomotion, but for attacking too. The more speed you have built up and the more appropriate wind up and follow through you put into your attacks, the more damage they will do, and the more your enemies will fly. Couple this with a plethora of weapons, add-ons, upgrades, modifiers, enemy types, and ways for you to attack, and you have a combat system that maintains reliability and consistency while at the same time feeling different every run you do. I saw a YouTube comment on a video of this game that describes the feeling of being you get within it perfectly. Underdogs is like Pacific Rim. Every other VR game is like Pacific Rim Uprising.